Man.
It's just dreaming. Just
All right.
dreaming.
I have no idea what that's going to do to the system. It's going to jolt the system into happiness for the
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Woo!
we're live now.
All right, we are
We're
live, and boy, we got a good start there. But happiness, woo,
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
happiness.
Transforming your life for happiness on July 25th, which I didn't realize July 25th was like such a big day for mental health, but it is. So, Jeff, the happiness coach, this is his profession, this is what he's done, this is what he's set his whole life to, is going to help you guys become happy on July 25th with using hypnosis. And what are some simple guides for people?
Well, the first thing is figure out some of the stuff you want, but being thankful is going to be one of your best things. With hypnosis, what we can do is we can focus on things you want, figure out, even they can do a little simple exercise right now at home, write down the things that you want and what you like and so so whatever they're looking to find the happiness, move away from what's not working for them, move towards the things that are working for them, and then we can use hypnosis to focus on those things even more. So what do they want, and what would they believe in their own mind that would make them happier? What's holding them back from their happiness? What do they think that is? So what we want to do is, write some of those lists, and then understand the first thing you can do to be a little bit more happy is find the things you're thankful for every day. Get up every day. And when you get out of bed, decide you're going to have a good day. You happiness is a skill. It's not a given. So you can choose how you're going to feel. And I'm not saying that's the easiest thing, but you can teach yourself to feel that way. When you get up out of bed, are you going, whoa, it's going to be a great day? Or are you going to go, oh, because, in the first 5 minutes when you get up, you're still kind of in hypnosis, actually. So you're kind of, oh, okay. So you can decide then, is it that day going to be good or is it going to be bad? Right there. And it'll start it out well. And then you figure out the things it's going to uh there's that I told you we were talking about
I know.
I got that so basically write that stuff down and get up in the morning and say it's going to be a great day. And
So,
go ahead.
not to cut you off or anything, but there's one thing that I feel that's an injustice for people. I don't think they realize how simple it is to have self-hypnosis. We would talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's focus attention. If you focus on what you want, I mean, and you can help you can get a hypnotist to help you with that, or you can go online and study it and figure out how to do it. But focusing hypnosis, we go into hypnosis all the time anyway.
So
When
wait a
we're
minute. So I'm just somebody who on the street and I need to go to a hypnotist. Can I do this on my own?
well, it's easier to go to hypnotist. You can do anything. You can decide to work on it on yourself because we definitely we're not here if you're not looking for us yet. We can help you. Yet you can work on it yourself because there's several things you can study it. Well, like I studied for years and years and years. So and it helped me a lot. I mean, I was really actually when I was a little when I was a teenager, I wanted to die. And since then, then I wanted to make people or help people be happy. And then I decided to, it changed my life working with the smile. A quick hack going just there, a quick hack you can do on your own is just smile, even if it's a fake smile and laugh because your body doesn't know the difference between a real laugh and a fake laugh. So you'll get the same benefits. You'll get that the serotonin, the dopamine, the well, there I'm getting at a loss for words right now, but all the happiness hormones that come up with that, and you can see even with that little silly thing I just did, I'm a little bit more jumpy and happy. But
Yeah,
you
that's
can,
for sure. We definitely all
that's
need
a
a little bit of
happiness hack.
Tharpo in our life.
Yeah, a little bit of happiness hack.
I just want to say that there was one thing that I learned from you from talking through all these different years is that when I was going through some struggles on my own, I asked you a question. It was like, well, what if somebody's, picking on me? And then I was like, well, I don't have to accept that frame. And then you were like, oh, I just jump into Tharpo and then nobody could be him. Like nobody could even like take him apart. And that was so mind-blowing for me because this is a character that you have, and then if somebody's dumping crap on you, it doesn't have to be you. You could just displace it to somebody else, and that person's indestructible, which is an alternate personality, which I guess we can create those our own, as many as we want, and then just kind of continue with that. And that's another form of hypnosis as well. You can create your own character to get you through tough times, right?
Right. Well, you can emulate what we do, like modeling. We can model like Superman. We can model whoever we whoever we would like to be like, and we can model that. And the same with happiness. What do we could look around, who are the happiness people that we would like to be like, and go throughout everything in your life. This is what really helps with hypnosis. Okay, so I was hypnotizing this girl one time, and she said she couldn't remember one time in her life that she smiled or laughed. Okay. Ever. And I'm like, what? I said, okay, let's work on it. And then I got her to remember 52 times. And by the time she wrote a comment on it, basically she said, I got a cataleptic smile, which, I know you know what cataleptic, but it's a frozen thing. But so when you go back and find the happiness in your life, you can what we were talking about a few weeks ago, or is anchoring in that happiness. So find out all the times you were happy, and then emulate what made you happy then. Okay, so there was a time when I was a little kid. I cried. I cried when I was a little kid because I didn't like to play with BBs anymore. I was very poor and I played with BBs, and that was one of the things that, you know, got me through because I didn't have any money, but BBs were my little army. But when I was about 11, it didn't mean anything to me anymore. And I was growing up. So we grow up, we grow out of things, we grow as we change. So as you change and grow, find out the things that you want to do and what gives you pleasure and happiness now. Because the things when you're a kid might not do that for you. So when we take into account how we've changed, because we're always constantly changing, what would make you happy? Now, this is that we can use the meta model here. Basically, what would make you happy? And then you say this. And then we would say, why would that make you happy? And you would say this. And then it's like, what would that do for you? And you keep on getting down. What do you think your happiness really be? But we know there's a bunch of happiness hacks we've already said to you guys many times. Is one, be
Yep.
thankful.
Let's go over that.
One, be thankful for whatever you have. Write down each day three things you're thankful for. One is find the things that bring you joy and do more of those. Another thing that can bring you happiness is reframing how you look at something. We were talking about this a week or two ago about it's
Reframing is
a
my favorite
mistake.
tool. It's
Yeah.
my favorite. I don't, you could take reframing against any of the other tools. It's my
So
favorite one. I know
it's
there's 16 different ways to look at something. Reframing is my favorite.
there you go. So we change because when we change the way we look at something, it changes. So if we can, I'm sure you've heard of the silver lining, find the silver lining. Now, everything, well, I don't know, most everything I've ever
Everything?
found, and that's a
I
universal
know.
fire, but most everything I've found, most of the time, you can find a silver lining. And this would even be, and this is a lot of people give me some hag on this, is that cancer. Even with cancer, if you got cancer, you could find the silver lining. It's because for the rest of your life, you will savor as much as you can of that life when you get cancer.
And you can make awareness for other people.
Yeah,
You know,
I like the song "Live Like You Were Dying." You know,
yeah, nothing's promised, right?
yeah, because there's no guarantee we're gonna wake up in the morning. Uh, and just think every day you do wake up, it's going to be a great day because you have that choice to make it a good day. Now, I'm not going to say it's always easy because uh, people, we have a bias of negativity in general because when a long time ago we needed to be negative to survive. Now, we don't need that anymore. I mean, and yet now these are
I don't know.
no,
I would definitely
I
argue
was
with you.
gonna go in a war situation. You want to be aware in I I say survival kicks in, and sometimes sometimes happiness is not the most important for you to be.
Jeff, what are the top 5 things to be happier with hypnosis?
Well, focus on what you want.
Yep.
Focus is the biggest thing. Understanding it is a choice, and understanding it's not a given,
Yeah.
and
You
understanding
have to make that happen. It's not going to happen
right.
for you. Right. Yeah.
You have to take responsibility for your own happiness. No one can give it to you. And sometimes I think people could give it to you, but that's codependent. You're dependent on somebody else for your happiness, which could fade as soon as that person got you mad or anything. Codependency is, it's out there. But
Number
being,
3.
uh, so we got three is being thankful, or four, being thankful for what you got. And with hypnosis, is getting into the state and realizing uh, that you can change whatever you want to change. You
How,
can do it.
how
I
does
like to put
hypnosis differ than NLP in being happy?
hypnosis is getting you into a state where you're more acceptable to suggestion. Okay. NLP has got tools that you can use to to manipulate the way things go into your mind. Like when you use the meta model and you keep you associate to something and disassociate, associate, disassociate, it brings the power of that thing. When
So,
you're
what does
let's say
association
you're
and disassociation mean?
okay, you associate to a problem. Man, I hate this. I
First
hate
person.
this.
First person.
First person.
First
And
person.
then you
I
disassociate.
hate this.
Right. And you look at it and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then you disassociate to a better place and you come back and I hate it. I do.
Another form of
Yeah.
disassociation is that you can, let's say you ghost yourself, right? You come out of your body and then look at what's going
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
So that's
Disassociate. Right. And
disassociation,
yeah.
right? So when I was having one of my clients, right, he's like, "Oh, I have to do these types of deals, and I know some of these deals are going to be bad, but that's just part of the business, right?" I don't know if it was like stocks or something like that, and I was like, "Well, what can I do to not have to, worry, take on that burden every time I have a bad deal?" And I was like, well, the only way you can do that is by disassociating. Like, well, it's not you making these bad deals, it's the environment making these bad deals. And since you realize there's no other way to find a good deal unless you make a bad deal, you have to, disassociate, which means that you perch yourself over here going, well, this is what I had to do to figure out what the good deals were. Like, so, and and then if you were to use the term reframe, there's no bad deal, they're all good deals because it's just information that you're getting to make a better deal future wise, right?
You're learning. You're learning.
Yes. So this is all about, like, again, we're talking about happiness, right? How can you use hypnosis to make yourself happier? It's basically realizing that no matter what you have to go through throughout the day, everybody has to go through something throughout the day. And then it's all about how you decide to look at it. And the reason why hypnosis is so important is because it aligns your conscious mind with your subconscious mind so that you can have better communication and make better steps moving forward, because that's the thing, you're so like distracted by your phone and all this other stuff that's going on, where if you just took a minute and then shut off all the lights around you, close your freaking eyes, and then ask your subconscious what to do next, it's there ready to tell you. In fact, it's always freaking telling you what to do, always. Are you listening to it? Just like if you eat bad food, your subconscious is telling you you should probably eat healthier, like, but if you don't take the time to listen to it or figure out what your next best steps are, you're just going to continue the same automatic motion that you're always doing. And then here's another thing. If you're doing the same thing all the freaking time and getting the same results, you might want to switch up what you're doing. Just an idea.
It's called insanity there. Do the same thing, expect a different result. So, what we're really working on with the hypnosis is basically getting ourselves aligned with our unconscious. Because everything in your unconscious, our unconscious takes in thousands of bits of information every moment, but we can only process like plus or minus 5 to 7 bits of information every moment that's coming at us. So we don't so our unconscious is picked up on so much other stuff. So what we want to do with happiness or any other hypnosis, for anything, is we want to get the unconscious and the conscious aligned, so we're not fighting against ourselves. So when you're not fighting against yourself, you're going to have a better life, because it's I mean, because if you're always in conflict, if here's a few things, just think about these words I'm going to shoot out. One is I can't. Now, when you say you can't do something, more than likely your unconscious will knock out all the things, the resources to make that happen, and then you really can't do it. But if you say instead, and you say instead, I'm working on, instead of closing that gate. And also find how you're doing your self-talk to make yourself happy. Because remember, if we're living by, well, remember, if you've listened to a bunch of us, our talks, living by your values gives you more confidence. And if you're living by your values, and
You
so
know,
you're more confident.
I know you just kind of glossed over that, but that's like one of the most important things in like my being, living by your values. And
Right.
don't don't take that with a grain of salt. Take that as deeply as possible, because if you haven't done a deep dive on your values and understand why the hierarchy is where it is, then you will be confused or depressed, I guess was where I was, until I was able to truly align that and then go through back all of my memories and all of my experiences and be able to, make peace with those. That's when everything started to really, click in and excel me to where I'm at today. And I know Jeff just kind of glossed, like, and there's so much information to go over. It sounds like he glossed over it, but that to me was one of the most important fundamental blocks to understand to get to the next step.
Okay, okay, cool. Because if you're living against your values, you're probably getting lower self-esteem and you're not as happy anyway. So when you lose your self-esteem, it's harder to be happy. Okay, with the given. Uh, so we're
Because
going
there's
to
away
align
values,
ourselves
there's
with the
towards
value.
values, away values, right?
So we're going to align ourselves to best with the values. What I want to throw in a few more things that can really help your happiness is start being your own best friend. Is this can really help your happiness. Is stop treating yourself like a, if you treat yourself bad, like you say you're stupid or just any negativity you're going towards yourself, think of yourself as your best friend. What would you tell your best friend as advice? You can use this tool, without hypnosis. We don't have to, we want you to have help with hypnosis or without it. But, remember the 25th is an important day for you. But, but
That'll
be
be the
your own
day.
best. Yeah, that'll be the day. Be your own best friend, because, uh, if you can be your own best friend, you're going to give yourself good advice. You're going to push yourself as hard as you can, but not too hard that you lose your best friend. And every day you work towards that. The best way to happiness, one of the best ways, besides all this, every day get up and be the best you can be. This is living in your values every day with a positive intent of having a good day every single day and do the best that you can do at everything you do. If you do that, then you never have to live in regret that you did the best you.
Jeff, I
Right.
know you've dealt or had a lot of clients, many that I probably don't understand. What would you say the overall theme would be between all of them? If you were to pick one or two um, issues that like hurdles, we'll call them. I know so many,
Really?
right?
No,
That was a random question, by the way.
I think the number one thing
You
that I
see how
find,
deep his eyes went? They
yeah,
were
the number one thing that I find with helping people is their self-talk. You know,
self-talk.
the self-talk. What are you saying to yourself each day? So, are you calling yourself stupid? You did okay. So somebody does a stupid act. That means they did a stupid act. That doesn't mean their whole core is dumb, stupid. It's just we all make some silly thing that we could have done better. Because here, the
How
biggest thing
would you know
for,
otherwise if you didn't do something silly? Like
well,
that's all part of learning. All right, so I'm the reframe guy. I like to reframe. Like that's my thing.
I think that's great. I think that's really great. Um, so man, I had a that's a great thing there.
Oh,
Uh,
I also throw you off. All right,
oh,
so somebody comes in, they do something stupid.
right. So they do something stupid, but they frame themselves as they do an I statement that I'm stupid instead of it's just an act. So what we find, you know what I
Which
mean?
is what you're great at.
Right. And we right. And then
My
we
whole
reframe it.
character is supposed to be stupid, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So what we're reframing is uh, to find the positive in our life each day and do the best we can and understand this is one of my most important keys for to help my happiness is to understand I can't be perfect. I can work
I
on being
hate that
the best
word.
I can because
Hate. It's a strong hate.
yeah, hate's a strong
I
word.
dislike that word.
Yeah. So the yeah, the hate. I was like, oh, my brain just like this
So anyway,
when you're
for,
talking, it's a bing, 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 bing.
all right,
So
so my favorite coach or one of my coaches, how do you become perfect? By taking imperfect action.
there you go. So, if you are a perfectionist out there, there's nothing really wrong with doing the best you can each and every day in realizing that it can't always be 100% perfect. Because a lot of people won't even start something because they don't think they're going to be good enough to do it. But if they never start, if you never start, you never learn.
That
That's
just brings me to
those
an
emotions.
example that I heard recently. One of the millionaire interviews that I was watching on YouTube or whatever, he was like talking about how Elon Musk put up all these different rockets that exploded, and then he was able to beat Boeing, who waited forever to put out their plane. It didn't work. But over here, Elon's exploding rockets, exploding rockets, exploding rockets, but fixing every time he goes, right? And then Bowen's just waiting, waiting for it to, waiting, waiting, waiting. And it didn't work by the time it went out. But if you put yourself out there and explode your rocket, at least you know how to self-correct because you have the experience from the last time.
There's a saying, there's a little saying is ready, aim, shoot, and there's shoot, ready, aim. So you shoot your product and you aim it and then you adjust. The other way is you wait to shoot. And
But
a
if you're
lot of times,
waiting, what
if
if
you
tomorrow
wait,
never comes?
no, that's what I'm saying. AI, a perfect example is AI, whoever gets it first, you know, and they're already trillionaires in
Sure.
what, 3 years?
Oh my God. I don't know. I
They
have to look
have
that up.
they're worth
Anyway,
over $3 trillion in the last 3 years. Um, but I did invest in it, so that was good.
that was another thing
That made
too.
me happy.
I don't know if it's if I don't know if you have to be the first one to get it right. It's more like Because I think they were saying that Apple was able to out surpass Windows, but Windows was like the first one to get it out, even though Apple had like was waiting and waiting and then like trying and trying and it wasn't working, and then all of a sudden they hit something and then it blew up, but it surpassed Windows or something like that. So it's all about like believing in yourself, putting yourself out there, and making things happen. I think we got off the
Yeah,
topic
we
of
got a little,
hypnosis.
we went a little, but all that stuff basically is where you're at, what's your map of your world, how you look at things, and start, uh, let's just throw out some things you can go today, even if it's not the hypnosis, because if you don't do self hypnosis and you're not going to go to a hypnotist, here's a few things you can do. One is savor the things around you. What find what brings you joy. Go out in nature. Go hug a tree. Just look around you and find the beauty, whatever there is, and look for the beauty. See, even the lights are beautiful. So find the goodness in the world.
I'll pause that. I don't
And
know what's going on.
no, no, it's okay, Scott. What we're going to focus on, we're going to find more of. If you really start focusing on being more positive, taking away the negative self talk, being your own best friend, getting up in every morning and deciding, make a decision you're going to have a good day, work on doing that, being your own best self, uh, living because that takes away the regret, and writing the things you're thankful for, and everything. I mean, because we you know, Americans, we have a lot to be thankful for. I mean, not everybody has what we have. And if you're alive, if you're still living, you have something to be thankful for because, or you'd be dead. That
Oh,
many,
geez. You got it.
well, I mean, you would be dead if you, I mean, there, there's still hope. We always have hope. And then wherever you're at, doesn't matter where you're at, where do you want to be, and start moving towards that. Then we do the little ease project, and each and every day we start just, you know, what can make us a little bit happier, and start doing more of that, and the things that can help your happiness. Well, we know that health is one of the big issues. Friendship, having somebody you can communicate is one of the number one things that help people be happy. Two is health. So do some exercise, eat right, be the best you can be. Because when your health is bad, it's harder to be happy. Then we would want to have our primals, our food, shelter, and a place to stay, a place to eat, and being enough to survive there. And then a lot of people get happiness out of being spiritual or some other, religion or a higher being. Then, if you want to even be happier, find what your purpose and meaning in life is, and then go towards those goals. And on the way to the goals, you'll find yourself being more happy. There's another thing, there's happiness. There's the pursuit of happiness. I'll be happy when I get my new car. I'll be happy when I get a new house. I'll be happy when I get a new something else. That's the pursuit of happiness. And that's okay because you will be happier when you get your new car, but that'll fade away within, a few months. And then you'll want a better new car. After you get a new house, you'll want a bigger house. So those are fading. But if you find your purpose and a meaning in life, that can carry you through your life, and you work on that with your value system, and that will make you happier too. So there's so much to happiness, and just any of this stuff, anything we talked about today, if you do any of it, it's going to help a little. And just do something. What I say, last October, I did a video every day about what one thing can we do today to be a little bit more happy. One is walking in the park. One is looking at nature. One is, exercising a little. One is, having a, a drink with a friend. That could be soda, water, or just hanging out with a friend. Find the things that could make you a little bit more happy. Do something that you're proud of. Did you know if you have the virtue of kindness and you help somebody, you get you get happiness out of that. And just by smiling at somebody, you smile at them and they smile back. That's mirror neuron that you'll get the same smile and the same benefit. And so you're actually helping somebody else and they're helping you. And you're going to, I think we've talked about this at least 100 times that anything anyone says, somebody's going to have a different response, an opposite response to what you. So, what we want you to do is find your values and live in their values. And then when people say, oh, you don't need to look at the world so happy, it's like, I have a choice. And it's not what people say to you, it's how do you respond to what they say. So when somebody's talking to you and telling you something, that's about them. And the way you react to somebody is going to be about you. So you don't have to take what somebody says to you personally because it's about them. If someone says you're stupid, say, well, thank you. I appreciate you thinking about me. But it wasn't matter. Well, I was talking, oh, I was working on another, not client, but somebody else in the field. We were helping her. And we were saying, what does it matter what other people think? Now, it's not that we don't want people to be happy or any of that, but to live our lives for whatever everybody in the world thinks. This was my terrible example was, if you wanted to be friends with everybody in the world and they're all lined up, you would be dead before you got through half of them and you'd have four diseases just by shaking their hand. So you can't please everybody. And it's not that you can only please yourself, but, you know, save yourself first, like in a plane, and save yourself like if you were on a boat, and yet then save the other people around you. It's not that uh, everybody else is not important. It's just that you're important too. So treat yourself because a lot of the caregivers, you know, die before the people they're caring for. So you've got to take care of yourself and find your own happiness. And nobody's going to give you your happiness. You got to find it for yourself. What makes you happy? Start writing that down. And when you find those things, do more of those and you'll be more happy. So I think we slapped that with a
There
hammer.
you go.
Yeah. So I mean, do these things every day and you'll find yourself getting more happy. Even I can tell you I was a lot more happy in the last 3 days. I worked every day working on my coins. I do a lot of with coins, and then I was working on my garage with all my props in all my shows. So I worked on all of those. And when you're working towards a goal or to be a better you, you just feel better. I mean, Scott does it all the time. What do you think?
For me, I
Hmm.
use hypnosis to create different personas that get me through different tasks. Before learned how to do sales, I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this, but I still want to do it. So what kind of character would I want to be in order to do that? So I also looked at my values, which again, I talk about without understanding that, you wouldn't be able to live within your own structure or to be confident or to be happy within your own values. So what I mean by that is, are you being honest? Well, like, well, yeah, well, I'm calling somebody up because I need to provide for my family, right? So I'm being honest about the service that I provide, and I'm not really out there trying to hurt anybody else. So yeah, I still need money in order to make this happen. So do I feel bad about making a cold call? No. What if these people need my service and they end up booking somebody who's subpar where they could have me? At least I gave them the opportunity to do it. And then I looked inward and it's like, well, I'm going to outwork anybody within my industry. I don't care what happens because that's just how my DNA is made up. So as long as I'm outworking or outworking myself or my fingers to the bone, like I don't care. That's like how it makes me happy, right? So making me happy is outworking the person next to me, because there was so many people out there that would look down on me and say, "Oh, you'll never be able to do this or you'll never be able to do that." Well, how do you know? You don't know me. You don't know the life that I went through or how I was raised. What if my only motivation was to outwork you because my mom was a quadriplegic and she told me that I was going to amount to something, and you had parents with legs and arms? Like, imagine that. Who is this little old guy outworking you? Like, so that's what makes me happy. And that's how I get through life. And I do use hypnosis. I do love NLP, but hypnosis is a way for you to talk to your subconscious and align yourself with what to do next. Because in a world where everything is so sporadic and everything is coming at you with your phone and what direction you should take, even with me taking on all these different coaches on how to grow my business, they all have their own way of doing something. And they may have some value to give you, but they're not in your shoes. So that can be a little confusing and that can be a little frustrating. Yet, if you know that you're living by your values, that you've made all the decisions possible for you to be where you're at, and then if you haven't fallen on your face, you're not doing enough to figure out what you need to do to get off your face, if that made any sense. And that's what I think about it.
Well, with
Hypnosis
that
and
said,
without hypnosis, you can't have self alignment. And even people that do meditation, I bet you, I bet you a dollar. I bet you a dollar it turns into hypnosis. They may call it meditation, but they're talking to themselves. And without that, without getting clarity on what you want, whatever it is, you will help yourself get there. Because your subconscious understands what is best for you. It's just that are you able to block out the noise around you to find out what's worthwhile?
that was inspiring.
That was from the heart.
No, no, no. I meant so. With that said, yes, finding your way to the hypnosis and all the things we talked about today, getting really just the thing about the hypnosis is aligning yourself with your values and what you want in the getting yourself not to fight with itself. So the unconscious and the conscious mind take those blocks that you know.
And that's an NLP technique, parts negotiation, getting your two or multiple selves to
Yeah.
sit at a coffee table and hash it out. Because a lot of people may think that it's, you got to talk to somebody else. Well, what if all the different parts of you, and what I mean by parts is there's probably like an aggressive part of you that's like, oh, we got to stand up for who we are. And there's probably like a softer part of you is like, well, we still want to care for other people. And there's probably another part of you as well. I got to have my integrity. Well, just invite all those parts to a table and then put an idea in the center of the table and have all of those parts. Now, it may be a little bit confusing if you're not in tune with it. Just realize they're there. The sooner you realize they're there and then bring them all together and then have them devour an issue and then figure out what the best move is, that's going to, well, for me, that's what led to happiness, because I wasn't listening to all these different things that were going on. Basically, for me, I was working for a narcissist, and the narcissist was like, well, if you follow me, then you'll make money. Well, my part of me that wanted to make money was like, yeah, go do this. But my other parts were like, well, yeah, that's not who you are. Why don't you just be who you are? Then you can still make money. Well, the other part was like, well, how do I do that? I'm already too far down this road. So once I was able to stop all that and then find out what really mattered, because you only have one life to live, right? So how do you want to live it? Do you want to live it in somebody else's shadow, or do you want to carve your own way? And then all the people that are non-believers is like show them how s- silly they are for not believing in you, because no matter what path you choose, you're going to get criticism anyway. You might as well just pick a path that you're going to enjoy, like, so that you can take all the criticism or not. Like, it doesn't matter. They're not living your life. Like, they can say whatever they want about you. You don't have to like change who you are, which is what I was doing in front of everybody that was in front of me to hope they like me. Or you could just stand out who you are, and then the people that do resonate with that will find you, which is more authentic than just putting on a different mask for every time you see somebody else. And that becomes too hard to keep up with because there's too many different personalities out there to try to appease to begin with.
Can't please everyone.
All right, so I think that's
That's a wrap.
probably too many different paths for one person.
Yeah, we went on tangents, but they were all good tangents, I think.
July 25th, Happiness Day.
Yeah, get hypnotized. Hypnotize yourself.
Find a hypnotist.
Even if not any of that, just think about being happy on the 25th because it's in you and it's in your unconscious and it's in your conscious. Just get it aligned and you'll have a better life. Just and understanding that happiness is a skill, it's not a given. No one can make you happy. You have to find your own happiness. And another thing, just I'm going to throw in because we didn't throw it in, Scott was talking about his job. Now, the job, what you do for a living, is going to take a quarter to half of your life or whatever it does. Find something you like doing. And if you don't like it, work on finding a better thing to do. Because if you're miserable half your life at work, why?
Yeah.
So find a different way. So Scott was saying he wasn't very happy where he was, and now he's taken a control of his life, and it's much better. So whatever that means to you, if it's getting a different job, if it's looking and reframing how you're doing it, it's not that you have to go to work, it's that you get to go to work. Reframing the way you look at the world can actually change your happiness just by reframing what it means to you. Because when you change what the meaning is, it changes in you. So change the things that aren't working for you to the things that are working for you, and you will be more happy. Ta-da!
All right, so there you have it.